In today's video, I'm going to show you why the old way of filing USCIS applications, hole punch, nice tabs so the officer can find all of your submitted documents, maybe a secure little staple on the front to make sure that your check and your passport photos get there, right? I'm going to show you why this is no longer the recommended way to do it. So those of you who have seen my videos, throw those old videos out. It's November 18th, 2022 when I'm filming this. There's a new memo from USCIS that says, we don't want this anymore. Now, we just want this. Now, the differences might not be immediately clear, but let's jump into this video and I'll show you what's good now and what's bad by actually taking you piece by piece through this USCIS memo. The new way to bind applications from November 16th, 2022 onwards, coming up. All right, guys, so there's a new USCIS memo, which you can find in the description to this video. This video also has chapters, so you can move to whichever section you want to move to. We're going to move into a view of the table in front of me in here in just a second. But it's important to note something. USCIS put out a message saying, hey, we recommend that if you're filing applications with us, that you kind of do it this way. Now, it's a recommendation. It doesn't mean your application will be rejected, not at all. But what it's going to do is help USCIS achieve its goal, possibly, of being more digitized. And the reason it's going to help them, as you'll see, is that they're trying to strip out any components of things that are submitted which are not scanner friendly, okay? And we're going to see that play out, and we're going to talk about what that might mean in terms of how you want to present your application and what you want to do before you file in order to maximize your success in dealing with USCIS, because some of the things that are being taken out, like tabs or sticky notes, might possibly make it harder for USCIS officers to verify that everything you've sent in, qualifies you to actually get a hearing, right, before USCIS, and they might reject things at a greater rate. So we want to talk about how to kind of lower your blood pressure if that does happen, and what you want to put in place safety-wise. But now, let's move to the table. Okay, so I have here in front of me everything we need to do to go from this, okay, to this, all right? And we're going to be using the recommendations for paper filings to avoid scanning delays message that USCIS put out, which again, you can find in the video description. Okay, so the first thing, let's go here, okay? This is, you see some paper clips, you see some kind of hole punch binders. This is a two-hole hole punch here, right? If you've never seen one, looks like it's off screen. This is a two-hole hole punch, okay? We have some binder clips here, okay? We have tape, okay? We have rubber bands, and what do all these things have in common? All of these things are used to bind applications, okay? It's what's at the top of this application that's done the old way. It's one of these clips, okay? Well, here's the thing. We're gonna take this, we're gonna take it off the table. We're gonna take these paper clips, we're gonna take them off the table. We're gonna take these binder clips, take them off the table. This hole punch, gone, okay? This tape, gone. All of these paper clips are taken off the table because USCIS is saying we don't want that. It slows down our scanning. So this, particularly when you're putting in things like tax documents, which are thick, people tend to put paper clips on them. Don't do it. So those things are gone, okay? So the next thing that USCIS tells us that they don't want to see is if we have photos that are less than 4x6, 4x6 or less, provide photocopies of these items instead. What does that look like? Okay, here is a photo of some lovely people, probably about 15 years old. I don't know, you can't tell me otherwise. Looks like they're in Venice or something. I don't know. We don't want to turn it in like this, okay? Instead, what we want to do is having a photocopy of everything, and what we're going to be doing is turning this page in, because what's going to happen, they're going to put this in with the application easily in one go to scan things quickly, as opposed to having to readjust the scanner, okay? So again, we're taking this photo, throwing it away, we're scanning it, photocopying it, and putting it into the application. Okay, the next one can get a little silly, but let's talk about it. It says, do not include anything that contains electronic chips and batteries, things like SD cards. Okay, this is an SD card, okay? Toys, okay, action figures, or thumb drives. They actually said that. That's why I have these toys, okay, SD card, okay. They don't want any electronics. You know, people apparently send in electronics. Maybe they send a phone with photos of their spouse. Do not do that. So all of these things, we're going to take them off the table. Instead, what you're going to do is send in photos, if it helps, of those items. So This is a photo of the action figure, okay? This is a photocopy scan of the other action figure. It's silly. Don't photocopy your action figures like I did here. It's just the best I could do for the video. But take photos of them, okay? And if you do have an SD card or something with the video, then you should take photos of those too, scan them, and put them in, okay? So far so good, okay? So we've cleaned up a lot of what was on the table. So let's go to the, which is kind of like USCIS's point. The next thing is, do not submit forms or evidence documents bound with bound with spiral wire. So this is something like a receipt book, which will commonly be turned in with some business applications or for affidavits of support. Maybe some people do it, okay, and it has like receipts in it. And some people, believe it or not, would send these in, with their applications in a box. We don't want to do that, okay? We even don't want to just send loose receipts like this. Some people might tape them to paper. Instead, what we want to do is photocopy, okay? So instead of this, okay, you're going to send in this, a photocopy of whatever's inside. And again, things are getting pretty clean, all right? The next bit is, do not submit evidence using photo albums, scrapbooks, binders, or greeting cards, okay? So similar to that, we don't want to use photo albums. You can bring those to the interview. That's what those are for. But greeting cards, okay, this is one of our thank you cards from 2017. This is a thank you note from one of our clients, okay? This is my holidays card from last year. I don't have 4 kids, I've got 2, but we sent this out. Okay, we don't want to present them like this. You don't want to put that in a packet. You try to put that on top of a packet, you try to scan that, it's not going to work. So we want to take this, throw it out, okay? And instead, we have a nice scan, okay? We have a scan of that holiday card, a scan of, whatever was important in that thank you card. We have, a scan of that greetings card, and that goes under here, all right? The next thing they say is pretty simple, which is just don't fold documents. If you're confused what a folded this is a folded document. This is an unfolded document. Again, a folded document, when it's put in the middle somewhere, what it does is it jams the scanner, messes up the scanner. So they don't want this. They want this unfolded, okay, and then put into the document, all right? So no folded documents, that one's simple. The next one is, do not place sticky notes on documents. Okay, I have it over here. These sticky notes, I used to put them all over applications. I want to put notes for officers to say, hey, look at this. Hey, check this out. Hey, don't miss this. They don't want these because, again, same reason. You try to put it on here, right? When you put this on here, you put it through a scanner, everything breaks. They don't want that. So we're going to take these sticky notes, throw them away, okay? Maybe if you're particularly frustrated with USCIS because they're missing something added on there. Same thing with these insertable tab dividers. I was big on these. I'd put them at the bottom. I thought they were a nice, cheap way for people to organize their applications. And you kind of put them on the bottom, and you say, hey, check it out. Check out number thing, or you might put something like this, like really important, right? You kind of, but they don't want these. They say, no, these are going to go. And the same thing, right? So just throw this out. Same thing. You see these dividers? These are insertable dividers on this application. Okay. These are really good to help organize things. Okay. Well, USCIS says those, we don't need them. They mess up our scanning. Okay. So they want to throw those out of the application. So this is why we go from this, which has those nice things, to this, which you'll notice it's missing them, okay? So no more tabs, no more scanners. We got to take this one out. They're so sticky. They're so, see this, you can't get it. Okay, so throw it out. All right. So the next thing it says, do not print forms on colored paper. Now, that's a crazy one. In some ways, I hope you're not printing forms on colored paper, but if you are, this is one of the USCIS forms printed on colored paper. Don't do this, okay? This is bad, okay? So don't do that. Instead, make sure your forms are all on white paper. Let's put that inside. That's pretty easy. All right, and the next one says, do not submit more than one copy of a document. Okay, so what happens sometimes, let's say you're filing a one-step I-130 485. You say, okay, well, I need a ID for my I-130 and I need one for my 485, and you put them both in there, and usually it causes these application packets to get like this big, okay? So what they're saying is, don't give us 2. Give us 1, if it's 1 application packet, and let's reduce the amount of clutter. I'm all for this. I think we want to reduce the amount of clutter. Okay, and then it says, don't send original documents. Okay, so you just saw that. That was a copy, okay? That was a copy, so let's take it back. Let's take it back out. This is a copy of my passport. This is my old original passport, okay? They're saying, don't send this. Don't send this. This, you bring to the interview, do not put it in the application. So this, no. Instead, you have a copy of your original documents, you put them in, don't send that. All right. And then finally, it's time to put this baby together. Okay. And so let's pretend this is a part of this application now. Okay. So in this one, we might have things like this in there, right? We might have, for some reason, I wouldn't do this, but let's say we're sending a toy. We've got some receipts in there. Okay. Okay. This one is just all photocopy versions of this. All right. It doesn't have tabs, but the one thing, I would I go back and forth on, we still have to put in passport photos. We still have to put in this. I would still put the passport photos in something like a bag. You can buy these bags online, there's like these small bags, or maybe you can put the whole application in one big bag, which is what USCIS does when they unpack them. But in any case, just make sure that it's all there. So what do you do, okay? So what do you do in order to protect yourself now that there's no tabs? How do you make sure that everything that you've put in your application is there? So let's join me back here on the camera here. Okay, so this is what you do. Number one, you want to have a good cover letter, okay? So you want to have a good cover letter that's going to have an index of everything that you have in the application. And number two, hey, if USCIS is scanning their forms, you need to go ahead and scan those your full packet too. Now that you've already made a nice tight packet without any kind of weird items in there, make a good photocopy, make a good scan, and keep it so that if USCIS rejects your application or has a request for evidence asking you for things you think you've sent, you have a record of what you've actually sent. Okay, that's the big thing you can do. The other thing you can do to make it maybe easier on the officer is, in addition to your letter, insert additional sheets between all of your evidence. Okay, so just a normal sheet that's the same size as the rest of your application, so it scans in well, and put in Exhibit 1, Exhibit 2, Exhibit 3, but don't do that instead of the tabs. So what that will give you at the end of the day is just a nice flat application, okay? Again, there's no holes, there's no tabs, we are not stapling anything, right, to the front or anything like that. And we are just going to go, and we've made a photocopy of this, okay? And it has a nice index letter. We're just going to put that in there, okay? And we got a nice copy, so we're confident what's in there, okay? And we're just going to send it out via courier service or tracked mail, so you know it got there, so you know somebody's signed for it. And that's it. Just send it out. That's the whole video. So check out those USCIS guidelines in the description of the video. And just know that from November 16th, 2022, there's a new best way to file with USCIS because they're trying to digitize and scan. God bless them. All right. Take care, everybody.